Hello and welcome to this week's Revolution Roundtable. I'm Owen Kohut, and joining me is Zachary Balog, Kelly Scheffler, and Haley Traylout.
Good morning.
Today's topic is the evolution of horror movies and how they've gone from gore fest to the spooky supernatural. Kelly, would you like to start us off?
Well, I mean, I love horror movies, so I definitely have seen a fair amount. I think for me, though, a lot of it comes down more to going, is it about evolution or is it about the way that Hollywood chases trends? And I guess those could be the same thing, but I don't know. I think evolution is not always natural, but this is very unnatural because, like, you have the 80s, they started with the sex and the violence. Yeah. And then, I mean, we still get that, but you also have that it's become the trope thing since,
There's a reason that's why a scary movie opens with that, right?
Exactly.
Like, you have the typical slasher formula, and it's been established since the 80s with, like, Nightmare on Elm Street and Jason and all these different series.
Absolutely.
You should also look at, though, how some horror films go off of romance films, too. Vampires were popular for so long because of Twilight.
That's very true.
Right?
Hey, that was before Twilight. Thank you very much. Plenty of us loved vampires way before they were sparkly.
1,000,000%. I am not knocking it.
One thing I like to look at when it's horror, like the evolution that I think is, think about horror films back in the 80s and 70s and look at them today. Mm-hmm. The amount of CGI. There was a reason that Texas Chainsaw, Friday the 13th, The Nightmare on Elm Street, they were all rebooted, right, to make for younger audiences. And they also depended on, especially Friday the 13th, like the originals, depended on suspense.
Like Alien. Alien has a huge, it's like an hour of preamble before you get into the action. And I'm going, I prefer 2 where they're going right in there.
Exactly. And then...
Give me James Cameron action, dang it.
And then when they rebooted it, action started very quickly. So that's kind of what I think when I think evolution of a horror film. You also had films that came along with what I call the church theme. So like The Exorcist.
Yeah.
And all these other different supernatural.
Kind of almost taboo.
Yeah.
And then you have the ones that are truly terrifying that follow real world what's
Human
happening
Centipede.
now. Oh, okay.
Oh.
We confirmed with a doctor this was possible.
there was one that was like Human Centipede called Tusk.
Yep, Kevin Smith.
Evolution of that was hilarious. The way it went from like this thing they were talking about, and then we should make this into a movie, and then it got, it went so popular just because they were spitballing the concept, and we need to see that.
Remember, there was also a time when horror, like the slasher genre and horror films were dying, but then they got rebooted with like I Know What You Did Last Summer in the late 90s and Scream, which still lives on today and was very good, might I add.
Well, Scream for me is, that's when I think that trope era started. It was the first time like a director who was known in the genre went, okay, yeah, we do kind of do this. Let's turn it on its head and make fun of it. And then that became almost the benchmark at that point, moving forward for... You then had Scary Movie.
And that is where everybody fell in love with Matthew Lillard.
Oh, my God, yes.
I totally remember him as Shaggy.
Yeah, really. That's how I remember. I think it was like Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase in that era of film.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I remember as a kid, my first introduction to horror movies was actually at a horror movie themed sleepover.
And that ended well.
I was not that kind of girl. And we were watching The Hills Have Eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Ruined Me. Jeepers Creepers.
Oh, that's a good one.
Which,
I'll die on that hill.
It was for a teenage girl who is not into scary movies. That was a thing. What was the one? 7 Days.
The Ring?
The Ring. That was not allowed in my house. My mom was terrified of that movie.
Well, speaking of The Ring, while the whole slasher kind of rebirth era was happening with Scream, I mean, in Japan, you had Ringu coming out, which was the basis for The Ring.
And Grudge and everything, too.
Oh, yeah,
at the same
100%.
Time.
The 90s in Japan really kind of built the foundation for what horror would become in the early 2000s, I find, because that's when you started to get all those remakes. Like, the original Ringu is still one of my favorite horror movies in general. I own it like in three different formats.
Nerd.
For some reason, hearing it's called Ringu makes it so much less threatening.
It
sounds like a pasta sauce.
It does.
Pasta sauce.
I was thinking that. Thank you for saying it out loud.
Ringu.
But
Do you like some Ringu?
But that
Let's
reminds
be
me
honest.
also of Cabin in the Woods, which is one of my favorite
Yeah.
horror movies because again, you have that trope idea that was started with Scream and Scary Movie and sort of went, okay, let's even go 1 or 3 walls back,
Yeah.
you know, and break all of those walls and just it's something even more overarching above that.
Yeah, it served as like the perfect deconstruction of the entire genre. It felt.
And I just want to say thank you to Michael Bay, who also did the Transformers, for bringing the reboots of these classic horror films alive. Like, I think he did Friday the 13th. I don't think he did A Nightmare on Elm Street, but I know he did, what's the other one with the chainsaw? Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Bringing these to whole new audiences.
No, now me, if I'm going to do a shout out, it's always going to be to Tom Savini. Love you.
I think
Daddy
it's funny
Tom.
though that they remade all these movies with the CGI and they tried to make it as, you know, modern as possible. Meanwhile, we prefer the classics.
Right?
I mean, I think Friday the 13th, the reboot, will stand out as my favorite film from the franchise because I just love that CGI and it just looks modern.
If you
At
could
a
get
time.
rid of one horror movie, scrape it from the face of the earth, which horror movie would it be? For me, it'd be Smile.
That I remember seeing the ads for that and it scared the Jesus out of me.
Yeah, it would definitely be Smile. I hate that movie with a burning passion.
I honestly don't think I have one. I know that like The Exorcist, when I watched that, I was terrified, and I don't think I even like bad movies because I can make fun of them.
Right? There's always something to learn from bad movies. That's the thing.
Roastable.
Exactly.
And those are the ones that you get all your catchphrases and fun
Oh yeah.
talk conversations over, right?
Yep, you do the little Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Exact. I was just about to mention that.
I was gonna say like Scream 6. I'm sorry, we need Neve Campbell in these films. I was the only one not to feature her. But other than that, I think horror movies stay.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much for listening to this week's Revolution Roundtable. I've been Owen Kohut, and thank you for joining.